Hello, and welcome, everybody. I'm Nick. I am still in cartoon mode today because that is just where my vibe is today. Don't worry about it. Um, I got my eyes moving around now. What was I gonna say? We're here on the schedule. It said drive stream, and I do need something in that realm of sort of like just chill hangout time. But I did not feel like getting the wheel set up and getting lights and whatever else. I didn't want to have to fix my hair. So instead, I said today we are going back to build stream. Uh, I have my this. We have our close up camera. Let's call it about there. And to catch you up on what we are working on. Oh, this box is so big. We have the Lego Modern House kit that we're working on. I can't turn this over because this box is open, but this is the sort of standard layout that we're going to be working on. I already have ideas about, I want to do some modification up here. So we're going to continue building on this because I say continue because we did already start this as sort of a reminder. This is how far we got last time. We got this whole sort of third of it completed, very tower like. The only thing I have done since is I did pull over the base plate and I gave us a base plate to work on, to stand on. So now, ta-da. I think this entire thing is gonna fit on the base plate. I think. I hope. If not, I may make my own adjustments. And the only weird thing is because of the way that they did these steps, they did these in a snot way that sits even with the bottom of the bricks. I had to make this edge hang off. I usually like to keep everything on the base plate, but for now, this one hangs off just a little bit. It faded. How's it going today? Um, why did Stream Elements fire again? It's okay. I don't care too much. So this is what we're going to be working on today. I believe when we left off, this was the end of. I think we ended right at the end of like a bag. So I'm gonna leave you over here, just in the back of shot over there. Oh, I gotta do the thing. Okay, somebody has to. I'm no good at reminding people that I'm live, so let's see here. I'm going to let's start with a audio library track called Funk It. Okay, and y'all are hearing that. Good. I'm sitting here. I'm, I'm, I'm putting my hand up to my face for the bit, but you can't see it. I might put on a podcast for myself, but I'll make sure there's music so y'all have background. Ugh. Okay. What's in here? Okay, good. Oh, okay. I left my build mats in here, so good. You can live over here today. This is the book we were working out of. Good, according to this. We're not quite halfway through it. I hope it's good because it's, I haven't touched it since last time. And then I'm just gonna leave all this mess. Oh. I'm gonna leave all this mess down on the side and we'll pull out of it a book. What was. We finished 3 bags. Okay, good. Just gonna get into 4th bag. Ooh, this one's gonna have a nice little balcony. Oh, and this is the stuff that I was missing. Which actually, I did find that eventually. So now I'm still just missing some of my old GBAs and the dongles from my PS2 remotes. That's a whole separate conversation, which I say, but if anybody wants to hear about that, they can talk about that because I don't really got anything to talk about today. How y'all doing? How's Has anybody been treated well by the world today? Oh, let's see. A knife. I should start bringing bigger and bigger knives to the studio to open packages with. I'll just leave all that on the floor. A lot of driving. I didn't do driving today. I had to do a brake job on my car earlier, which I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but you can still see the dirt on my finger. Dirt? Mud? Gunk? My car is so old. Didn't crush any of my appendages today, so that's always a good time working on cars. I've forgotten something. Look. I like working on my car. That's actually... I know a lot of people don't. I know sometimes it is like a an anxiety task, because it's just like, oh no, if I touch it, am I gonna make it worse by touching it? But like, I don't know. There are some things, some tasks that are so routine that like at this point I'm good enough at them. Oh yeah, no, the other week I had a V8 engine roll onto my hand. Actually, I think it was a V6, but like this whole knuckle area was bruised for like a good week afterwards. It must have been like 2 weeks ago, because it's all better now. I don't remember what this is from. That's fine. I'll say nothing hurts today. Is that true? Nothing hurt. Nothing out of the ordinary hurts today. How about that? You look like that and that. Good. Ooh, we're gonna do fancy stuff today. That and this one. And we're using pins. Ooh. Just in the edges. I could zoom the camera in. I don't know if I need to though. When I wasn't doing a brake job, I caught up on the new season of One Punch Man, because I didn't even necessarily realize that the new season had started already. I don't keep up with, well, A, news in general, B, anime news specifically. You know, usually the only news I keep up with is that, which is so severe that I don't really have the opportunity to ignore it or miss it, rather. It's not necessarily a willful ignoring of news. It's just, I don't know. Like I've already been on a kick of rewatching a bunch of stuff. I guess it I guess it was Sakamoto Days, right? When that was coming out. I was doing an okay job of keeping up with that as episodes released to Netflix. And then I caught up on that, and I was like, well, I'm still here. I might as well keep going. And I went from there to, I started rewatching Mashal. And then I was like, no, what's a show that I actually enjoy watching? And it was Spy Family, because Spy Family Season 3 also started showing recently. And when I first saw Spy Family, I was just like, all right, this seems cute, this seems fine. But just like in a looking back kind of way, when it comes back to like, oh, you know, what's something that was a nice time that I feel like revisiting sometimes? It's just like, okay, yeah, maybe actually Spy Family is like one of my top 5 shows, maybe. Anime, at least. Oh, this page is done. That's why I can't figure out what else I need to do. You. For some reason, I was looking at Sailor Moon Crystal. I'll admit it's kind of a hate watch, a spite watch. There's just something after watching a little bit of it, I kind of put put words to my feelings on it, which I think was I wouldn't necessarily say that it feels like a cash grab kind of production, but I was saying it felt like something you put out to sort of widen your like portfolio. It's just like, oh, look at how many things we're working on this season. It's like, it's not the money maker, it's not scraping the barrel. Like Sailor Moon is still the amount of reverence for Sailor Moon that's out there. It's just like, yeah, you don't just, it's not necessarily an also ran, but it does feel like, oh, we are going to put this out there and kind of be relying on the fact that it's Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon will sell, I feel like, rather than actually creating something that's, you know, not creating it to make something that is good. Just constantly learning that Sailor Moon is one of the things I have surprisingly strong emotions about. Dropout stuff is good. I don't subscribe. My partner subscribes. And I'm not like, especially when it comes to like personality driven stuff. I am extremely picky about the stuff that I pick up on and I stay in. But I mean, Game Changer's good. Game Changer, I actually don't like it as much as I used to, because it used to be like, oh, we're kind of like doing different games and they're all going to have a gag in them, but at the end it is kind of like, you know, we are playing with the idea of games and changing, and especially when it's elements that is like, you have to learn the rules of whatever game we're playing by playing, and I'm like, yeah, that's really into that. And I feel like in trying to, you know, top themselves every season and they go bigger and bigger, and it's like, yeah, they're doing like interesting stuff, but I do feel like they're kind of getting away from sort of where it started. If anything, the fact that they spun Make Some Noise out into its own show, and that one still feels very, you know, that one feels silly to say grounded, but it's just like, yeah, no, this one is still pretty much what it was at the start. It still is now. But, you know, go be something different, do interesting things, absolutely. Like, this is not a complaint. But it is one of those just like, oh, I kind of, the thing that it is now is good, but I also kind of miss what it was. Well, what's the other one they did that, here's the other thing, it's like, I also don't really catch up on everything. Like, when my partner and I remember to check for a new season or something, then we'll watch it together. But like, the only one I really went into like a backlog dive on was, oh, what was it? Gastronauts, their food show one. That was pretty good. Oh, they had one where they were basically doing their own Mythbusters. That was pretty fun. BDG was on it. And No Laugh Newsroom. For some reason, you know, trying to trick your coworkers into breaking, trying to trick your fellow castmates into breaking is, I think a lot of times I like the sort of like the sausage making of like show production than I do the end results of the shows. And so stuff of just like watching people break is the funniest thing to me. That is something you want to get me like crying from laughter, and it's just like stuff like that is going to do it. Right, crowd control. I think crowd control is a neat, and again, you know, same thing. It is. I think these are neat ideas. I think the fact like crowd control, as you know, as a show gimmick is just like, yeah, that's really cool, and like that's also definitely a show. It's a show for people who like to meet interesting people, because like a big part of I haven't watched the new series yet, but just going off of what the Game Changer version was like, the thing that really made that show work, I think, was making sure you can find audience members who have really interesting things to latch onto and find out about. Like, you know, I won't say it's straight up Dale Carnegie stuff, but like, you know, half the time is just like, oh, you want an audience to be interested in you, be interested in them. And like, but I'm also a sucker. I do like stand-up. I was very happy when we had a local stand-up joint. What's the word? Not an entree, not an encore. Event site? What is the word I'm looking for? Oh my god. Venue. When we had like a stand-up venue locally for a couple of years there. The guy who ran it was a big so-and-so. The less I say, the better. That's also why we don't really have it anymore. But you know, it can always be hit or miss, and a lot of times it is about like the crowd who's there, right? Which is always I forget who was talking about it, but somebody was talking about like the being like a Vegas performer, because depending on what the venue is, like there are people who is like, oh, I'm going to this show to see the person who is playing there or whatever, right? Versus something like a Vegas show, where it's just like, I'm running this show every night. People are like, oh, here is something we can do. They're not necessarily coming for you. You are just something around while they are looking for something to do. And those bring like entirely different vibes of audience to a given performance. Yeah, no, that series would not work without it. Hey, okay. I'm coming in a little hot on this, like I do with most of my takes are hot, because I don't know, I can't turn off my critical lenses. How are you on Dimension 20? That's theirs, right? Yeah, not Critical Role. D20, Dropout 20. Yeah, whatever it is. Good. Okay. Good. Let me hear it. I get to be quiet for a minute. It sounds like. Sure. Honestly, neither do I. Is that true? If it's not true, I definitely don't feel like I watch a lot of tabletop stuff. Adventure Zone, that's still kind of the only one that I'm on regularly, and even then I fell off of it for quite a while. Oh, right, Dice Friends. That first campaign they did, I was a big fan of, and anytime Dale is running, I'm very curious, but I think it is definitely like, I like the way Dale DMs more than I necessarily like the dynamics of the way they run campaigns as a whole. Okay. I'm not familiar. Season 1 was that a fake ass Hogwarts season? No, that was one of the ones they just did. I've seen like 2 episodes of maybe 3 episodes of Dimension 20. I watched the first 2 episodes of their magician high school, whatever. They fought a cream corn monster. Fantasy High, thank you. and I watched like one episode of Never Stop Blowing Up. I'll save my thoughts till you're done with yours, though. I want to hear more. Do you play much D&D? Do you have like a group of regulars? Have you ever like been in like, you know, a game or two before? Because I think it kind of comes down to the same thing, right? Like it's sometimes the players are the crowd, and you know, the same game, the same system, the same, even, you know, if you have like a story module you're playing out of, a different group of, even if you have like the same DM and different players, or the same players and a different DM. I said the same thing, didn't I? Vice versa. Like, can completely change what you get out of it. And so here's the thing that oh, if you're going on for a dozen sessions, oh, that's a bit. My regular group of friends, we've played games a couple of times, like little sessions. I don't think any of our campaigns have ever gone on for a dozen, right? Like, we don't play with the intention to tell a never-ending story. It's usually just like, okay, here is like, you know, what setting do we want to play in? Let's come up with some characters, and then here is like a story that's going to take maybe, you know, 6 to 10 sessions, and then we play it out and we figure out where it lands. And the high fantasy stuff. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I don't think I actually have a problem with high fantasy. Well, the thing that I think I have a problem with is so often bundled with people telling high fantasy stories that I think it's actually really hard to just sort of like conceptually split them. So the thing about Fantasy High, right? The reason why that's one, because I kind of asked my partner and I said, you know, which do you think there is a season of them playing that I have a better chance of liking? Because they know me really well, and I can usually trust them, oftentimes more than anybody else, to kind of know what my reaction to something is going to be. And they were like, you know, this one has a decent chance because it is not it like it is, they are doing the high fantasy stuff. It is witches and wizards and whatever. There's monsters, there's a phoenix, there's whatever, but they are being tongue-in-cheek about it, right? It is just like, yeah, but like, you know, again, we're fighting a creamed corn monster. It's just like, okay, yeah, so obviously you're not taking things too self-seriously. Like that was again, my partner loves Critical Role. I don't know specifics about that, but just like I see them watching it a lot. They've done fan art. It's gotten its hooks in them quite a bit. Oh, this is how we're doing the balcony, is we're doing these tall pieces, but we're making an L. Where'd that short one go? Clear pieces are so easy to lose. Am I holding it? Uh-oh. Did I drop it? Did I drop a piece? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not clear. It's this solid white piece. The thing that got me was I couldn't stand Critical Role because of how self-serious it was, right? It is when I saw one clip and, just sort of like seeing over his shoulder, and it was like, roll to see how many dragon scales you manage to forage off of this piece of the boss that you cut off. And I'm just like, too crunchy, right? But it's not even, that's not necessarily a fault of, that's not necessarily a fault. Yes, because it is, your skill at dungeon. Well, so that's the point of it, right? Like they were in, like, when a system. Oh boy. Okay, I could talk about this for the next 3 hours. But that's the thing, right? Like, some people like that, the reason when you talk about RPGs, especially tabletops, anything that, you roll a D20 or whatever, it's the fun of it is that you are you call it collaborative storytelling, but the thing is that the dice are one of these storytellers, and you are voluntarily giving up moments of story-based decision making to the dice, to a certain level of randomness that you get plenty of chance to skew because you have stats and you level up and you pick feats and you can say what are things, what are the chances, like it is you are making decisions that help sort of decide what those are going to be. But there is this element on, like, it's kind of a spectrum, and on one end of the spectrum what you have is a writer's room. It's just like, we're a group of people, we're sitting down to write a script, we're doing all the same things, we're coming up with characters, we're coming up with scenarios and settings, and we are figuring out, okay, what happens, what is the most interesting thing to happen, and we simply say that is the most interesting thing, that is the most enjoyable thing for us to see happen, so that is what happens. All the way on the other end of it is you have sort of a very an entirely hands-off systemic thing, like if you when you kick back from your Dwarf Fortress game and you just watch all the little guys follow their algorithms and you see what happened, and it just happens, or when you just roll on tables for plot points and things and whatever. So, like, all RPGs fall somewhere in the middle where it's like, it's not pure creative and it's not purely hands-off. It is a question of, like, how much of your, of the human's creative control are you giving over to randomness? And so to me, that is why I think there are people who, okay, so my actual point is, for everywhere along the spectrum, there is somebody where that is how much they want, and that's fine. Have different flavors, that's fine. For me, I think there are many places along that I usually like something more kind of over here. I am somebody who is very, like, I love to have a very crunchy, where would that be? I love to have, like, a very crunchy system where things are very systemic. When I try to come up with game systems like this, I always accidentally, like, march my way towards, like, oops, I'm making a war game again. Whoops. I think Lancer is a pretty good example of this. It's just like, oh yeah, no, Lancer, like, it is kind of just a tactics game with some non-combat rules in there too. I don't even know what they are, because honestly, I'm just like, oh yeah, just let me play the tactics game. Right. But when you look at that, that's us, that's flavor. Mercer as a DM, all those other folks playing it, they all seem super into it. They love it. They love the very, like, role-playing elements of it. They love, like, it almost becomes like theater kid stuff. Like, in this situation, what does this character say and do? And that's just how they approach it, and they enjoy it, and that's fine. Me, I don't necessarily enjoy that. I am definitely of the thing of just like, hey, if there's something that we all want to see happen, but currently it's up to dice, like I'm a fan of just like, okay, roll the dice, and then I as the DM just say that the thing that happens is what we all want to happen, and kind of just like rolling the dice as part of the ritual of an RPG rather than actually playing the system of the game. Because I think that's fun for us. I'm actually a big fan of okay, very qualified, but one of my favorite like tabletop RPGs is Fiasco, which there is a little bit of randomness in the setup and sort of the sort of like middle twist and endings do get a lot of like skewed randomness to it. But like everything else along the way is just we're narrating, we're sort of playing in the space, and then someone gets to make a decision about which way that path goes. And making those decisions is how we skew the randomness near the end, but it is almost entirely about we're just, storytelling and improving and making decisions. And I think that's super cool. I think that is one of the coolest things is like one of my first favorite things about, or one of the best flags for me about if I'm going to like how a specific group plays D&D, if I'm going to enjoy it, is how often do they just say, I don't care what the rule says, this sounds like a good idea, let's just roll with it, let's just have it happen. Which again, I think was kind of a funny, was almost part of the premise of Adventure Zone in the first season. It's like, yeah, none of us really know D&D that well, so we're kind of going to roll it, but maybe we're going to simplify a lot of things. We're going to skip a lot of things. A lot of times, like, it's even a question of like when people are just doing bits at the table and you kind of have to stop and be like, okay, are you having a funny, or is that what your character is actually saying? And how often are those both yes? How often is it like, yeah, my character is doing, the sort of Marx Brothers quotient of the party, right? Because there's a thing about when you watch the Marx Brothers movies and you look at how they are sort of structurally, and I often visit this a lot, is that everyone who is not one of the Marx Brothers in a Marx Brothers movie is trying to have a fairly straightforward, straight-faced, normal movie. A Night in Casablanca, they're doing sort of a Casablanca pastiche. Animal Crackers, they're doing a sort of art forgery, multiple theft, mystery farce kind of thing, right? And so often, like when you actually look at the bits that the Marx Brothers are doing, they're having them with each other, and maybe they're having them with one of the other characters who is basically acting as a straight man, but like their individual bits, there is usually a point at which, okay, are you agreeing to this part of the movie or saying no to this part of the movie? And that'll fork the movie. But like the actual just like, why a duck has no effect on the overall plot of Animal Crackers, It's what we remember, but it's not necessarily it. It's the movie is their separation from it is part of what makes it work, because we do not have to take all of their bits seriously. And we also don't have to, we all kind of understand that we're not here for the straight face movie bits. There is a balance there of just like, the reason we are having fun with it is, at some point I started thinking about it, it's just like a Marx Brother movie is kind of MST3K, but in the movie, in a way that Deadpool is not. And I'm not going to talk about that right now, because I will get a completely different form of heated over the Deadpool movies and how much I did not like them. Oh, did we really run out of? Oh no, I just need to manually go to the next page of songs. And so here was my thing with Mention 20 and specifically Fantasy High, because they did something weird that I would actually say was kind of opposite what I look for in that, because they were doing like the modern day thing. They were doing the high fantasy whatever. They were doing, I believe there was a scene where they were like trying to have a serious conversation with a bunch of dirtbag kids doing dirt bike donuts in a cul-de-sac or something like that. They have a fight with a cream corn monster wizard. Like, they are doing like really ridiculous farcical kind of things. But it's they kind of go the other way. It's like they have a sandbox full of really goofy, corny, do not pardon the pun, hold me to account for that. They're using like really funny pieces in their toy box, but I do feel like they do ultimately, kind of play it in a very straight-faced way. They are doing the voices all the way. There's still like a difference between this is what my character actually says and here is me just sort of like, kind of doing a bit at the table. It is still like there is a self-seriousness to even though they are playing with really sort of fantastical and ridiculous pieces, they are still weirdly self-serious about it. They are still, doing cinematic descriptions of cuts in between, and they are doing, they are trying to have characters have serious bits rather than just being these, sort of out of reality Marx Brothers kind of characters walking through what is again, this is kind of, why I go back to the only real like actual play thing that I liked is like, because when I talk about Adventure Zone, I talk about like their first campaign, the Bureau of Balance arc. I actually only mean like the first half of it, because at some point they got so self-invested in their own story that they're telling, and they wanted to do something interesting and actually tell a story with it rather than use the setting and the system as a sandbox for doing bits in. That's when I lost interest. So like, you think about the beginning where it's just like, oh, this is Barry Blue Jean, and this is whatever, and you named your damn wizard Taco, there's the other way I've been thinking about it, and this is sort of a more unified theory of things Nick likes, sure, because this also then extends to like Space Ghost and the late night shows I liked, which were like late era Conan and Craig Ferguson, and some in a weird way like little bits of like Beavis and Butthead or MST or something like that. I like a show that has a level of contempt for what it is. I was a big fan of Fast Karate, which is the anime podcast for people who hate anime and podcasts. Space Ghost had a number of episodes written by former late night talk show writers, and it was just like, hey, I'm sick of this Space Ghost asshole. Let's write an episode where he gets stuck in an air vent and beaten like a piñata. And it's just like, yeah, okay. There's something, I think at some point when somebody is, especially in like a creative field or working with a property or something like that, when somebody is so close and so far into, something, familiarity breeds fondness and contempt, which sounds oxymoronic, but I swear it's true. So I think there's this thing about like when you are so close and so deep in something and you get sick of it, then you want to start doing interesting things with it. Almost like, you're bored with it, so you want to push it. You want to do new things. And I think a lot of times they end up being interesting or fun things. Things that make it interesting again, and I am far more interested in how people are trying to break the bounds of what an RPG is by not taking it seriously, So Same with talk shows. Same with whatever. Again, I mentioned Craig Ferguson. If you've never seen Craig Ferguson's late night talk show, he would have segments where like, a guest would come on because they're on the tour for a movie or whatever. They would not do that. He would just be like, hey, welcome to the bit. I know you're here for the movie, but first you need to play ring toss. And he would hand the person, a bunch of like hula hoop sized rings that he then has to throw across the stage to land on the interns in the pantomime horse outfit. And then it's like, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming by, like just not like being a talk show and like again, contemptuously refusing to do the things that a talk show does. There's a whole different part of this conversation about how I think like the Eric Andre show almost goes too far with that, and it's just like, yeah, okay, you are so disconnected from even like the structure of a talk show that it's just like you're not even, it's not interesting anymore because you're not even pretending. It's just like you are I don't know. I also don't like his form of humor. I think it's very just like, oh, isn't it funny when we bother people? And I'm like, no, go back to your studio, break your entire set again. Why not? Again, further other conversations. But yeah, so Fantasy High, and then what was the other one? Never Stop Blowing Up. So that was the other D20 that I was like, oh, this seems like they are going for the like, let's do a thing that we could not possibly take self-seriously. And then somehow they managed, maybe that was the one with the dirt bike donuts. They blur together in my mind. Because again, they all had this same like we are so invested in it that we cannot help but take these ridiculous things self-seriously in a way that was just like, okay, so you're not actually doing it differently. Again, you have changed into ridiculous pieces, but you're my favorite season of Dimension 20 was the one that he did from that one episode of Game Changer where it was Dimension 20 on a bus. That is absolutely my favorite one. Who gets to be Lint? Oh my god, that was again sort of like a contempt for what you are, and it's just like, yeah, I'm going to take what this is and I'm going to see how far we can stretch it with or without breaking it, well, I've been going off on this for a little while now, haven't I? Which is so like, it almost makes me sad, because the thing is like, I do like Brennan on like everything else I've seen him on, like especially on Game Changer, because he is very obviously like a very like systems brained puzzle solving kind of guy, and I very much empathize with that. That's why actually my favorite, I still gotta listen to this actually, Adventure Zone did a live show where it was the Meckle Boys DM'd by Brennan, and I'm like, yes, absolutely, tell me how badly that goes wrong. It's not even about how mad does it make Brendan, but it was like or to go back to an LRR example, the episode of Panelists where it's Adam and Jacob on a team and they have to describe heraldry, and that's the other thing. Whenever Jacob DMs on LRR, like I can't always stay in watching those seasons because like, especially when it's vampire, he cares about that so much and he takes it so seriously. But the moments of everyone else who doesn't care about it and just watching him go, hey, I have to say yes because I'm a good DM, but you were trying so hard to break this system. That I don't even like it for the Schadenfreude, but I do love it because like that's exactly the thing. Somebody's trying to have their straight-laced movie, but unfortunately it's a Marx Brothers movie, and so they're going to be Marx Brothering it up. And I think that's the thing between Dale and Jacob. I think they are both very good at, no, the bit that you were doing among us friends here at the table, that is what happened in the game now. Let's deal with that. And that actually goes, boy, a point that I totally forgot to make earlier, I can wrap all the way around to, back to talking about that spectrum of like completely in control to dice, humans in control versus dice in control. I do feel like the further you get down, or like anywhere in the middle, I think you need to be farcical. I think you need to be like, I think it is inherently comedy, because like the whole thing about like letting the dice make some decisions is that you then as players, it's jokes. The reason that you leave something sort of unscripted and out of players' control is because it causes something unscripted that then players need to sort of work around. That is literally like, scenes from a hat. What's the other one, where they have like the lines written on their pockets and they just have to work it into a scene. So that's the thing. For me, I think inherently, as soon as you come away from straight script writing and you are allowing dice any say, you are saying we are setting landmines for ourselves in terms of narrative progression, and we are going to force ourselves to, a setup followed by the unexpected. That's called a punchline. So as soon as you have like dice making decisions, it's either going to be straightforward or a joke. It's either going to be what you expect or a joke, something unlikely that ends up happening or something likely that ends up not happening. As soon as you crit fail trying to, sneak in drunk one night, you are like, it's this thing. It's like anybody who gets so self-serious about the story, I kind of can't stand the way that they play, because it's just like, no, you are, as soon as you are not, because here's the thing, like, I've seen, again, over the shoulder of my partner, I've seen little bits of like Critical Role, couldn't stand it, could not stand the way that they approached their storytelling or whatever. Not that any of it was bad, but it was just so out of my taste. And it's for very much like this. It's just like, no, you are giving away so much control to the dice that it's like the idea that it is possible to have anything but comedy occur is just like, why are you fighting the comedy? You have to be comedy. You cannot, like, the idea of having a serious TTRPG is like inherently, contradictory. It's oxymoronic. It's mutually exclusive. But then when they took that season and they turned it into, I guess it was an Amazon animated series, I thought that was fine, because at that point it's just like, okay, we're going to smooth this out, we're going to make it a story, we kind of know where it ends, so we can retcon things and we can do this, and you can turn the comedy thing into like a pretty like, serious but not without humor, just straight storytelling. At that point you're just be like, okay, we have this seed that was formed somewhere over here on the spectrum, and then we're just going to fix it and script it and until it is just like, yeah, it's we're going to clean it up, which I think is really interesting, because you can look at that, and then you can also look at the fact that Adventure Zone turned into graphic novels that were essentially doing the same thing, but even the way they did it had to be kind of novel, because it's just like, yeah, they did not turn it into a self-serious thing, because the sort of like lack of self-seriousness is so iconic to the way they run it, which again, for that season, for the beginning of that season, because by the end of it they were so self-serious about it, and then the next like 2 or 3 seasons they stayed in that high self-serious thing that I was like, no, I'm out of it, I can't. It wasn't until the like versus Dracula that I got back into it. And the live shows, they're like, the live shows are always like non-canonical, so they feel safe to be bits are real about it. There's a new one I've come up with. And then there's something like, what is it, Dragon Friends? Because I was just like, oh, Tom Hardy's going to be working on that? Oh, that guy's hilarious. And then that's another one that I felt was doing the same thing. It's like, oh, we're being very self-serious about being ridiculous. And it's just like, you're close, but if you're looking for one that is extremely not self-serious, I've started listening to bits of D&D minus, which very much does the thing. The difference between bits at the table and sort of the canonical story of the game are very nil. I haven't really gotten deep in on it because I came in very late to it, and it's just like there's probably like a point where an arc starts fresh that I could go back to, but like I haven't even done that yet. But that's been very much on the side of just like, yeah, no, we're not taking it too seriously. We're here to tell jokes and be silly, and so honestly half the time forget to care how D&D works, and that really works for me. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go back to Legos now. Oh my gosh, it's been almost an hour. If I thought anybody else was going to come in, I would run ads to turn off pre-roll. I think the way I have it set is still like just pre-roll and then no mid-roll ads. I think, is that how it works? I don't know. If y'all see an ad, I'll take a break. Let me know, we'll take a break. But yeah, I guess those are some of my long-winded thoughts on actual play podcasts. Or even just, actually playing with friend groups. I've played with a couple of different groups and about different with different people running it. Ooh, nice. And it just still does very much come down to like, okay, are you here to do you for some reason want to tell a serious story here, or do we want to just tell bits at the table and be like, oh, what would it be like if bits were real? And I'm like, yeah, I want to see what it's like if bits were real. That's my fantasy world. What if bits were real? I love the I don't know which camera we'll see better on. I love this like faux stone line that we're creating through the different stories. Oh yeah, you can see it really well up there. I really like architecture. I don't know. Been wanting to run some sort of D&D game again, but I have none ideas for like, oh, what is the setting, what is the campaign going to be. I have one idea in mind, but actually getting it down to, okay, no, I actually have like 3 ideas in mind, but like I have some high level ideas of like, oh, what is this world shaped like, who are some of the that seems evil to me. The way that this door is placed, there is now this gap in here where the inside of this touches. That's I might change this. That seems unacceptable to me. You would not catch me building an official model that did that. It's okay. I might want to. I'm thinking I might cannibalize bits of this set because it has all these like big window pieces, and I want to steal them for the arcade machine. The one that hangs? No. This one. And for some reason, we put this one here. I still have this brick here. What is this brick for? Something has to stick here on these pips, right? Oh, this one goes right here. Oh, and then we're calling that done. Kind of. Well, according to this, isn't there? I guess these are just right. There were some extra pieces that I had in my little box over here from a different thing I was working on the other day. Now you're telling me this comes in, and this bit slides up in under here, and this clicks in. Oh, maybe this is going to connect to another piece out front. Oh, I broke the table. Right. Stick this back down. Stick it back down. Yay. I'm absolutely going to have... I shouldn't stick it to the base plate yet because I'm absolutely going to have to move things around, but I'm sticking it to the base plate. Here's our rummy. Okay, what comes next? Oh, those weren't extra pieces. Wait, I did it wrong? I did it wrong! I separated it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Want that to lock in. Oh, I broke something. Broke the steps. Alright, these just come off this. Well, let me go here. And this whole thing sits back down here. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Favorite ice cream. Ooh. Favorite ice cream. Must be an easy one, why don't you? I have a humongous sweet tooth, so I'm one of the weirdos who likes birthday cake ice cream, actually. I don't know if I would call that my favorite, but it's one of those ones where it's like, it's not always there, so usually when I see it, I will go for it. If you had to ask me like a, one forever, it's probably chocolate chip cookie dough. Because cookie dough bites, and then it's vanilla, but you get the chocolate in there. Although, I am one of those people who can absolutely tell the difference between the different, styles of vanilla. I don't know which one is which. I don't know, which one is vanilla bean versus French vanilla versus whatever. But I can definitely taste the difference, and I am picky about which one of those is my favorite. Which means I should probably learn which ones are the ones that I actually like. You would think I would have done that. But that being said, plain chocolate, chocolate's real good though. But there's other ways to get chocolate. I like a chocolate, but it's because I like chocolate milk. And I won't miss chocolate ice cream if I have chocolate milk. I guess this is also if we're talking about, hard ice creams. Once we're talking about soft serves, okay, once we're talking about soft serve, what are we really talking about, Because it's just are we just talking? I feel like, when you talk about soft serve, it's just, less. It's just chocolate, vanilla, or swirl, and it's just well, yeah, give me a swirl. I want the best of both worlds, because both of those worlds rule. I'll say this: swirl with soft serve swirl with rainbow sprinkles. If I'm gonna put some specificity on it, we don't need to hear from you. Go to hell. Okay. I like this. I love how this is looking. I love this. And I'll say this. I know this is bugging me with the way that it interacts with... You can't even open the door all the way. It hits the flower pot. What a strange choice for an official kit. the idea that we're putting these. Oh wait, that also doesn't even like line up flat. There's a weird step down there. Why would you? Strange choices in this kit. I'll say that. I don't. Overall, from the outside, don't hate it, but some strange choices. Okay, time for bag 5. Let me go get it. A knife. I don't think I have a third knife to three-peat the joke. Not without going out of my way. If I take a break before the three-peat, I can make it a three-peat. But yeah, when we're talking about like standard ice creams, when we're talking, I mean, if the one is soft serve, then obviously the other one is hard serve. If we're talking about hard serves, then like, yeah, chocolate chip cookie dough, but I'll take birthday cake if they got it. And also, ooh, what about top? You know, sprinkles. I like the sprinkles. Just add more sugar to my sugar. Never not a fan of that. Usually like a rainbow, because sometimes I'm getting something with chocolate in it, and I don't want to. It is totally possible to overload chocolate flavor on something, so I rarely go. If I'm going like pure vanilla soft serve, I'll go for chocolate sprinkles, but I'm rarely going for pure vanilla soft serve. I hope you were looking for really specific answers, because those are the only kinds I have. I am a blast at parties, quote unquote. Speaking of overhard, well, if we're interested, we'll come back and talk about frozen yogurt in a minute. But speaking of hard serve, you ever think about eggs and how eggs have, it's like, oh, I want them scrambled or sunny side up or over easy. I was so happy to learn that over hard is an option. You can say it at the diner, and the guy in the kitchen will probably know what you mean. Because here's the thing, I do not like a runny eggs. I do not like Sam I Am. Not even necessarily like, I mean, okay, no, I definitely do not like runny eggs, just straight up. Like, you give me like, oh gosh, we got a ramen place opened up not too far from us. Okay, actually it's a Kung Fu tea, but the ramen that they serve in there has been pretty legit. No problem. I'm still gonna rant about this for a bit. You can see my answer on the VOD. Hey, thanks for hanging out. It means a whole lot. Tell your friends I'm still going if they need something to watch. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. We got ramen from the Kung Fu tea, and it was pretty good. And they did like the whole thing, including giving, whoa, I have never seen this piece before. Look at the profile on that piece. I really wish this had a manual focus on it so I could focus manually. There's only a digital one somewhere in a driver that I don't want to mess with right now. But yeah, I've never seen that profile on a piece. This is very purpose built. We both got different, what is it, ramen versus udon. Technically those are different, whatever. But they give you the egg where it's like hard-boiled whites and then completely runny yolk, and I took one bite and I almost couldn't swallow it. Like, So like runny eggs, can't stand them, over easy, don't like it. Even just like straight hard boiled, I can kind of only stand eggs once yolk and whites have been mixed. At that point, if you give me scrambled, if you give me like an over hard, guitar. I'm gonna put you in there. Like the thing is, my favorite way to have eggs is like omelet style, but like I think part of omelet is you hear omelet and it's like, oh, okay, what would you like mixed into it? And I'm like, no, just scramble the eggs, but instead of keeping them moving while you're cooking them so that they become light and fluffy, just put them in a pan and leave them alone until they are solid. That is how I like my eggs. And like, usually it's easy enough because I can just order like, I want a 3-egg omelet with, because like, you know, once you leave, if I'm having breakfast anyway, it's just like, yeah, throw some bacon and or sausage and ham in there. You know, those are all good. I'm not going to turn those down, certainly. But the idea of just like, okay, being able to say like over hard, and people will go like, what? And I'm like, that's a real thing. Just a descriptor for just put it in a pan and leave it alone until it's stiff enough to stand up and walk out of the pan on its own. These little like iced tea glasses with the handles and the colored liquid in it. That's not the Lego minifig cups we had when I was growing up. I'm old. I'm pretty old. I love how this looks from a distance. I'm really hoping it fits on a base plate because I've been working on building a wargaming terrain table where everything fits on base plates, so you can shuffle your terrain like by just picking different base plates with stuff on them, and you just sort of jigsaw them together, and then they're modular, so at some point they'll always fit. So you're telling me weird little like half circle one. Oh, I guess it is the 2-to-1 adapter. It's just over there. Let's see here. And then this, and that's going to hold up the guitar, except I don't think the guitar is staying here, because technically a guitar is an important specialist item in Brick Wars, and I have not had one until now. I'm just going to build that bit first, then stick this over it. Okay, that makes sense. Guitar. Now something that looks like a boat. I need you. And I gotta remember what my filters were like for the audio we're hearing today, because I have not been upset with like anything so far. I have not needed to skip. This one, and this one. Okay, the idea that this is like a clear dinner table, the clear effect loses a little bit when it's Lego, because you can see all the structural molding on it. But I do love a glass top table. I am just a big fan of that in general. Okay, so you want this to go in line with this, with 3 spaced. That's Silent Night. That we have to skip. actually, you wanted me to place more on this. You have a bowl. We have a bowl. Should fill that with ice cream. And then we have, right, one of these weird 2/3 tall bricks. I'm always so torn because when the more like purpose-built a Lego piece is, I'm just like, that feels like cheating, because the whole point was like, hey, you have these pieces and you build big enough to have the resolution you need to express what you're trying to build. But at the same time, I love tiny diorama pieces. I love it. I don't hate it. I in fact love it. So I'm of two minds. Minimum 2 minds. Okay, now we're building a couch. Okay. Might actually not be able to go as long as I thought I'd be able to tonight, because to sit at my desk such that my head is not in the way of the overhead camera is actually hurting my back a bit. So at some point I will no longer be able to not lie down, at which point I'll have to lie down, because that would be how that works. Do I also just need to clean this camera lens? Hello. That's Christmas again. Stop it. Yeah, I'm skipping the rest of y'all because Jingle Bell comes later. Thank you. Yeah, get slappy with it. Okay, and now we build. Okay, we need this and some single pips in here. This is somewhere between like the intro to Sanford and Sons and a Genesis game. Yay, look at that little couch. I love this. Again, I've talked about this on Doom. The way that I love Doom Cute, I also love making little Lego furniture. Now where do you want this to go? I'm guessing next to that table? Yeah. Oh, lined up with the end table, sure. See, just look at how nice this little diorama is looking. I love it. Okay. Now what do we got? Now we start building some more things. All right, now we are in last window time. You're never going to be able to see this, but there's extremely tiny molded in printing on the bottom of these little plates. And if I don't have them aligned in all the same way, it's going to drive me nuts, because I'm not like clinically OCD, but I pay enough attention that it's hard to know that I'm not, you know? And also now I'm realizing that I don't know if this is the way that I put them on my earlier build sections. So if they're all mismatched, that's gonna irk me. I'm gonna be all irkled. That's different. Alright, windows. More things. back and just connect where they land. Side also. Kind of bugging me that these two windows are not lined up. They are off by one. This one is one step further than that one is. Ugh. Is it a problem? No. Am I going to be forever aware of it? Yes. I just really make that thick and connected and interlocking. It's a little extra plates like that make it really stable. Now I can. Yeah. These are the only parts that are still really wiggly. And if you would like to share your wiggly parts, don't. Then weirdly, yes, this whole thing is going to be a sliding door. Slot in there. I don't like that it's having me do it now when there's literally nothing holding it in. Like, don't tell me to put it there. This is Lego. If it's not connecting into something, or at least becoming trapped in some way, don't tell me to place it yet. Oh, we have a second one of these, and that will just go top. Now, nothing else? No. So this is actually only going to be held on by these 3 pips for the moment, but this is now actually captive and will be a sliding door. They did me again. These top and bottom ones are off by 1. I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna flip. Hide that. This goes in here. And these across this way, which feels like it shouldn't be. It's not super stable. There's a bunch of wiggle here because it's. Oh yeah, because that's actually completely still not connected. It's only connected on this side because they overlap the window by 1. But then you do this and that. There's a much sturdier overlap of all those parts, and now it's pretty. Still kind of wiggly, but that's more because I know exactly which way to wiggle it to reveal its not insecurities, that's what I have. Instabilities, maybe? Oh, I love we're making these little, like, modern. Not facets, they're not faucets, they're not flechettes. The sconces? They're modern sconces. Let's call them sconces. I like that. I love that. See, that's the thing. That's why I'm such a sucker for this set specifically, because it is both modern and miniature. It's like as Doom, because like you could do Doom Cute in Doom Cute. You could do like mini diorama in like a fantasy set. Would not care. I actually have that. I have a kit that I think is like, oh, it's the cabin from that one scene in that one Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, oh. It's very this scale. It's doing kind of similar things. I poke. But it's fan. I don't care so much about like a hanging oil lantern. That's not it's not enticing to me. Oh, I guess we're building some kind of plant. Ooh. Oh, one more away. Okay, so we are I opened 9. The dot's not a hat. That's not enough. Maybe I have less than 9 bags. Well. Yep. I have solutions, quote unquote. And then we'll just bury this in the backyard. No one will ever know. Six. Wow, they're not even... Oh, that one's too far away for me to be able to grab it now. I don't have any other funny knives. I've got this weird square blade. I didn't even... Oh, we can look through the room, kind of. Well, hello, Mark. Hello, Mork from work. I've never seen the room. I don't care to see the room. You're trying to tell me we're just going to kind of keep building. Start here. Two more. Oh, excuse me. Just like a platonic 2x4 brick in white, unblemished by dyes. I mean, I wonder if you have to bleach it to get it white. I mean, you can get a white dye, right? I don't know what natural Lego color is. I mean, it's probably like gray plastic, right? Oh, now we set all this aside. We start here, and then a 6, and then one of these with the latch. What do you call that? It's a bar, the receptacle for a hook. Right, now that covers it. And I guess we're gonna start decorating. Goes here, goes 2 up. Put that. That. And then a light gray. And a dark gray pip. That's about where it's gonna go anyway. Or yeah, it's gonna have to stick forward, I think. Something like that. It'll be fine. Okay. Here and here. And here. 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 Oh, this is gonna be like a... This is gonna be like a gravel path section, huh? We're gonna put a whole bunch of these square and round multi-gray pips. score out. Yeah. Okay. These right here. Yeah. Oh, and then we're gonna do shorty windows. Ooh. Seem pretty ambidextrous, so I'll do it this way. Right, and then copy some of these. Fours, so it's 12 again. But on one layer we did 2 6s. This one we're doing triple 4s, so that way we actually have overlap. So that probably is going to be more structurally sound. And then we're also doing a double 6 immediately. Because with the one below, now we have, we're back to full brick heights. Making me put a 4 plate on a 4 brick, especially when the same color, is kind of nerve-wracking because it's just like, oh, it's one of the hardest ways if I have to separate it later. Wait, is this going to be like a second floor gravel path? What? What are you talking about? Also, I don't like that right now it's only supported by a 2D connection. Oh, excuse me. That'll keep it clipped on great. Although, legit, I do love the overhang. I like architecture. Why don't I do things? Because I don't have good ideas for architecture. It inspires me in a weird way, but not to anything. Okay, so maybe it's not inspires it. It's just like when I see a nice piece of architecture, I'm in awe of it. I find it awesome. You know, in the way where it's just like, oh, I'm just sort of taken in by it. Not to any end. It's just like, nope, this is the state I am in now. I'm looking at and thinking about this thing I'm looking at. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, that's going to continue to keep that whole overhang pinned down, sure. And then we're just putting a bunch of stuff here, huh? You say so, Chief. What are these going to be? Are we going to hang more sconces off of these or something? Like I think we did something very similar with these pieces for the arcade apartment build, but that was so that eventually it could be the it was the hinge that let you open and close it. But this one I don't believe there's any hinging to this particular set. These gonna be seats or just make you think of the pills like on the back of Akira's jacket? That wasn't Akira, that was Kaneda? That was Kaneda. The other one was Tetsuo the Iron Man. Was not. Tony Stark the Iron Man. Whoops. What are we building here? Come on. Oh, you want me to put these weird ones with the notch in the middle? I think there's going to be a piece of an outdoor section? Like the way that on, oops, I knocked somebody over. Like on this one, the way that this front door is notched back to have a... Why is quite a bit of gap here? And I know it's like not pipped in, but... Flip the table again. Something gonna slide here? This is either gonna be something really interesting or maybe something that's just like, well, that seemed over engineered. Hey, now we can build a tiny plant. Yay. And we're going to use this and put a tiny little keypad on it. Then cap it. And it just goes there. What do we think that is? Oh, is this a bedroom? Is that what this is? Is this going to be the pillows of the bedroom? That's an alarm clock and that's that. Maybe? Okay, if you told me this was like a bedroom with like a nice little like side balcony, okay, maybe that's cute. Yeah, now we're doing something like, nope. These go in here. Just one? No, there's another one. Yeah. Oh, wait. I just saw one of the pieces in this bag is a rubber ducky. So somewhere in here, I guess, is going to be a master bath. I spoiled myself by reading ahead, in a sense. Okay. And that's looking quite a bit like a bed. And there's a demon in my bed starts to play a nightmare tape. Knew a woman wrong yesterday. And we're gonna put you here. And this goes here. This goes here. Hey. Hey. I have a whole window over here yet to be done. It's time. It's time. You get backed up, though. You get caked up. Nope, not it. Not the words. I mean, listen, we can talk if you would like to make a request, but for the time being, caked up is not the word. Okay. Build a wall. Boy, I hope nothing structural is here, because that's just a 2 and a 1 hanging off, so it wants to swivel, or like nature. Goes here. Okay, well at least we do have a lot of oh my gosh, are we going to attach a whole is a whole balcony going to attach onto all these points? That's now suddenly what I'm thinking. Huh. Maybe. Oh, now that's a big bridge. Then a shorter one that bridges to the other gap. Okay, sure. Okay. Don't hate that. Wait. You're telling me this rubber duck goes here? Was it a bedroom rubber duck, or what are we looking at here? Oh, new bag. And we will start. Oh yeah, I see it already. Bag 7. So I don't have other funny knives, but I do have a drawer full of tools. I clip. Okay. You want me to start with this. Yeah, see, and now here's immediately, we're gonna start doing a bunch of flippy bricks. But from what this, couple of pages of instructions are telling me, we're not actually going to be building a balcony. We are just building a single wall. We're just going to snap the front wall onto it rather than being any more floor space. It is just going to be a horizontally attached side wall, which I guess I find that funny. Right. Now when we look at it, this absolutely matches up perfectly with all the little arm bars that we put down there. Okay, also set this aside. This is so evil. First step of this. Put a 4-plate on a 4-plate. Just to be evil. My fingers are hurting just thinking about trying to ever separate these two. Oh, how dare they do that to me. Ugh. Help me to stop envisioning it. Ugh, ugh. And then we take one of our windows over here, which goes in this way. There. Do this back on top. Oh, I see what's going to happen here. And then immediately put the other one. See, it's showing me building it vertically like this. I'm pretty sure. we're going to be placing it like this. And then, let me guess, 2 more 4s? Oh, 1 more 4, and then smooth faced. The smooth faced dog. Nope, not a thing. And then we take all of this, and it attaches this way. So we built it vertically, but this wall is actually, it's one of them sideways walls, secretly sideways, which, like, I've actually done this before on my arcade hall build. Because I used the like windows that were this size, but they were actually the sort of like glass opening doors, and so I hung them so that way they would like open this way from their frames. I did that backwards. You want the lip of the window to be on the inside, so actually it goes that way. Aha. More go another page forward. I swear it used to rise, funk, and trunk. Okay, sure. I swear it used to auto-progress pages as we were listening, but whatever. What do we think? 6. And pip block. Cookie arm pip block. Kind of evading coming up with a new topic to talk about because I think my voice is starting to go a little bit. Let me do it again. Ugh. Evil. Oh, is this going to be faucet? No. This is on the wrong side. Maybe like bed cabinet? Oh, no. Because of the way that we've done the windows where it's accepting pips on both sides, we're actually going to be building this part of the wall upside down and sticking it in, aren't we? Interesting. How are we going to hide the bottom side on the top? We can just put a plate over it, I'm sure. Never that complicated. Anything else in, or just it has been put this could be like a light fixture, and then the whole thing gets installed upside down to become the top of this wall. It's so funny. Again, to me, I guess. I don't know about y'all, but that's so funny. If you were inside my head, you'd be laughing and laughing. Okay, cool. Now I get to do the insane... Oh, no, that's a shower head. That's what it is. It's not a bathtub. This is a shower. Okay. Well, let's click the 8 cookies all at once. Yes, it worked. Oh yeah, look at that. The pips next to the bottom side. Oh, that feels wrong. Oh, that feels so wrong. Oh, and now like the entire, no, not the entire front, but like because of specifically the way this one is, that one brick on the end is here. Can I get it on the side camera too. Not without breaking it. Here, where do you see it? So that side, that one pip on the end is rotating, so it'll stay hooked, but also it'll wiggle a bit. I mean, I'm sure we'll be straightening that out by well, no, because we won't be able to just bridge across this with something because this doesn't have pips on top. Yars, driving me nuts. Okay, start with the big one. Place it here. 5 sticking out. Place these adjacent. It's a whole bunch of these. Square. 4. Square. 4. Turning 4. And 4 again. Square. And double 4s again. Then one last turn in 4. And then this whole thing just caps this. So it won't, it'll hide this bit, but it won't actually really do anything to strengthen it, because that whole front wall is only held in by freaking clips. It's clipped onto the side. That's so strange. Yeah. Oh, that's not super happy about going on, but yeah, there it goes. Oh, why? There's like a weird little bulge here. Ugh, like, okay, is there anything actually wrong with it? No, wow, it's so boring from the top side now. Is there anything actually wrong with it? No, of course not. It works. The worst thing you can say about it is that on the sides here, the clippy parts are, oh, and you can see it there too. No, that is the way it tells you to go on, but this is going to be the outside. Why not put the smooth faces over here? Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Smooth Face. Please, thank you for coming to talk to the PTA about your child's face. Oh, wait, I placed that wrong. Oh my god, I gotta take the whole thing back off. That's supposed to overhang the front a little bit. Oh, I'm terrified to take this back off now. Oh, it feels so bad. Oh, gee, look at how much came off with it. Anyway, by 1. Like, there's nothing really wrong with this, but it just don't. I'm a little surprised to see something so. Like, here's the thing. The idea of we're going to build this whole wall in a very snot fashion, and then we're clipping it onto the side, and that's how it's going to attach. I think there is something clever about that, right? I think it's clever. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But it does leave a couple of these little... I'm used to expecting more sturdier and resilient construction solutions from official sets. That really feels like something that, like, it's one of the, like, better mocks I would see on Flickr, but, like, it feels so weird to be in an official build. It feels a little unreliable. It seems like a weak point that normally would not be acceptable for an official build, you know? But, you know, eras of Legos. Different things are acceptable at different times. Okay, and now this whole thing connects. And I cry because it's not going to fit on a single base plate. I bet. Okay, so all of the backs are lining up. We're doing this very dollhouse style all the back is open and completely lined up. Ooh, and it only connects at the bottom. Oh, they're gonna have me. Okay, hang on. Okay, all right. Now if I go to put this back, oh wow, it misses by 2 over here. Wow. Okay, well I can. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be modifying this set quite a bit. Let's say. For completely necessary reasons? No. For reasons that'll satisfy my very particular brain? Yeah. So in order to get this to latch, I'm going to offset it by 1 on each side. Oh, it doesn't feel good either. I think with all of these still visible, we're going to be adding a whole bit over here. So again, I should not be really attaching the base plate yet because I know I'm going to have to reposition it before we're done. But it really does help to keep all of the sections together. The table just broke on its own this time. Your Honor, it's like that when I got there. Ma'am, go sit upstairs in the reading room. There you go. That's better. What else fell out? Oh, the top of the chair. Yeah, some of these are like I get it. I am an older Lego fan. It's just like, yeah, no, sometimes you build stuff to look really good, not necessarily to be like stable enough to be played with as a child might. But even still, some resiliency to being moved about. That's one of the cool parts about Lego is that you can make some really structurally resilient things. Okay, so now we're gonna use that to clip over and keep it connected. So why did we even build it like modularly with the pins in the first place then? Also gonna have me clip back here, and this one's gonna go over here. And this is saying I should have one more flat white plate. There it is. Okay, now we're pretty... I like that this is actually like a structural load-bearing AC unit, because that's actually what helps keep the top of this one connected to the middle section. I don't hate it. There's some weird thing. I don't know why it's bugging me so much that the covers of the bed are all pips. I feel like that should be smooth over to be like a comfy looking blanket, you know? I do love this clear balcony railing though. I do love that. Let me just finish this. It's been 2 hours. Better question. If I save more for next time, is that going to be enough for a full stream? You know, I think between my voice and my back and my lack of anything else to say, I think this is a good time to call it a night. We made a really good amount of progress today. I am so psyched by how this is looking. I think I'm gonna bring this down. I might make this like a half height top. I might fill it in with solid instead of with windows, so that way I can seal the windows. Put them in here. Because again, if you missed from this set, this is inside, but when you close it, yes, you don't get to see inside and it looks more like an arcade machine, but I don't like that. I know that the dude is in here in absolute darkness, so I would like to replace some of these panels with windows. Probably like this one and this one, maybe at least this one for sure. And if you look at it, that panel and that window are the same. So if I rebuild this part of this one, that I can take those windows, I'll be able to slip them right into here in probably a satisfying way. Probably. Ooh. Wow, it's not coming up on the noise gate, but there's like a tiny little squeakiness to this that's actually irritating me. Hey, little man. Doing okay in there? Yeah, he's chilling. The AC is on. He's got his favorite video games. Anyway. Put my bookmark back in the instructions. And let's bring us over to here. Hi. If I bring this back up. Yeah, there we go. Now we gotta... Oh, that's poorly cropped. Okay. Why is it also... It's because my camera is way out of alignment. It's fine. Hey everybody. Thank you for hanging out on a little bit of a HotSwap stream. This is what I felt like doing today. And I feel much better having done it. So thank you for, what's the word? Not condoning. Not elaborating. I am so bad with words today. Satisfying my want to build, I guess. Before we get out of here, let's just do housekeeping real quick. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Hey, everybody, it's Wednesday. Today's the 22nd. Oh, gosh. Next week is... It said Highway Book Club, but nope. I gotta find more stuff to listen to that I want to listen to. I was thinking about maybe Don Quixote, maybe something else, maybe Don Juan. I don't know anything. I want to find something with a good link to it. I think is really the issue. It says next week is backlog stream. Maybe I'll HotSwap that. I'll call in Audible and we'll do something spooky. That'd probably be a smart idea. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Okay, so ignore the rest of this schedule. Not useful anymore. Yeah, actually the schedule has really not been useful pretty much the whole month. That's fine. Hey, if you made it this far, you're on the archive. Thank you very much for making it this far. I hope that you made it this far because you were enjoying hanging out. If you would like to hang out while these are live, be part of the audience, ask questions, be part of the conversation. You can hang out, go follow over at twitch.tv/Liku. If you want to get notifications about when the archives go live or when the live streams go live, whenever something goes up, you can join our Discord, and we do some chatting there, but it's mostly about if I have links to post about stuff I talk about on the stream, I'll do it there, or if mostly it's for notifications, and that's fine. And if you have enjoyed any of the things I've done or Joe's done or whatever, I have a Coffee and Patreon set up, /Liku on either, and throw me $1 because if you have $1, and you've enjoyed me, it would be very meaningful and literally helpful to give me $1 for the joy I've brought you. Help us change into a society that shows that you can be a valuable contributor to society without becoming like an Amazon box packing drone or whatever. Okay, before I go on another tirade, thank you very much for hanging out. I had a fun time. I hope you did too. And until next time I see you, take care of one another. Good night, everybody.